was quick. Welcome, everybody. I would, excuse me, like to call the meeting to order. The opening exercises will be done by Mrs. Sejas Martinez.
Please stand for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Well, let's go into agenda item number 4 is the reason why we're here. Presentation of exit report from the Advanced accreditation team, including recommendations related to accreditation for Peoria Unified School District. Mrs. Pellis-Thomas, welcome.
Good afternoon. Welcome, President Pangarelli, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Stifler. It is my extreme pleasure to be here to present our Advanced Ed accreditation team as they give our exit report and give their recommendations related to accreditation for Peoria Unified School District. Before I introduce the team that I have grown to love and respect over the past only 4 days, I want to take a moment to thank our organization, this organization across our system, for all the work that they have done, not just in this process, but what they have been doing for every single day in the 27 years that I've been here. First, I want to start with the Governing Board. Your vision, the purpose that you set for us, the direction that you give us, and the autonomy when necessary allows us to pursue excellence, and we want to thank you so very much for that. Dr. Stifler, for your understanding, your passion for where we've been and where you want to lead us. So thank you. Lynn Bailey, you must be here. I feel you behind me. I could feel you, our project manager, who's been an essential component of this process by keeping us on point, and not just for 4 days, but for over a year and a half. Dr. Heather Cruz, who I received an electronic thumbs up from this week, and who I hope is watching. Heather, I hope you are, for setting us on this course, and then leaving and putting it in my hand and saying you can do it. And having the confidence. Heather, thank you for helping us achieve this goal. My buddy, my child that I didn't give birth to, she's been the easiest to give to give birth to and the hardest to raise. Danielle Airy, her professionalism, her polish, her precision has allowed the rest of us at times to flounder and fall and still look great and awesome. And Danielle, thank you. Ann Babino, you're in the room. Wendy Davies, Rob Panzer, who I keep on saying, Rob, can you cover this? Can you cover this? Valerie Nash, oh my gosh. Donna Keller, I know you're behind me. I can feel you too. My colleague, my confidant, my friend who's continually guided this entire organization, putting the plans together, getting it to happen, getting it on time. She's kept all of us, especially me, where we need to be during this process. The champions, Ellie, Bobby, Connie, Ken, Steve Savoy, the team that presented, they know their stuff. They didn't have to practice anything, they just know it. Most importantly, or as importantly, or but and the school, our principals, our teachers, our parents, our stakeholders, oh my gosh, our amazing children. After 27 years, I can say, once again, I've said it before, you make the impossible possible, and you make the possible certain. Oh my gosh, you are an amazing team, and how proud I am to be part of you. And I would like now to introduce a colleague who I've known for what I feel is years, our advanced ed lead evaluator, who made this process so positive, so professional, such a wonderful journey, as you've said. Dr. Sharon Knudsen, that we pronounced right, and they call her Dr. K. So Sharon, please come on up here and tell us your findings, and thank you so much again.
One of the things about me is I can't stand still, and I'm very short. So we agreed that I wouldn't use the podium. Is the mic working? Okay. So I'm going to stand here and move around. Thank you for being here to hear our journey these last 3 days. And with that in mind, I'd like to introduce the team. You have a very illustrious, experienced team who was willing to be thoughtful in volunteering their time to travel throughout your district and visit with students. And we have, with fidelity, compiled our findings. And I think that's an important part. Nick, would you stand up and introduce yourself?
Retired superintendent from Floyd Wells, and now the McFarland Citizens Chair in Education. And my number one job now is being a grandfather. So thank you for inviting me to your home, and it was a wonderful visit.
Yeah. What I need you to know about Nick is I don't know how they managed to put in one person the amount of knowledge that he has about kids, what kids need to learn. You are truly an expert and an authority. Thank you.
You're going to make me cry.
Yes.
A little insight here.
I think as a team, we truly all learned. And I learned from all of you, but Nick is very special in that regard. So I'm going to move down to Gay. Gay, will you introduce yourself?
Sure. First of all, I have to say your district has set a new high bar for hospitality and organization, and we have been treated so well, your kids, your parents, all of you. So on behalf of the team, thank you for that. I'm Gay Lance. I'm a lead evaluator and field consultant for Advanced Ed. My territories are Arizona and the Middle East. I'm on the faculty at University of Phoenix, where I supervise student teachers and admin candidates. And my background is central office administration, executive director of curriculum instruction in large school districts in the state of Washington. And I'm happy to be in the land of sun, because coming from the land of rain, although the last couple days was more like Seattle than Phoenix. So thank you for having us.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Davis. I am from St. Paul, Minnesota. I was looking for 90 degrees, but alas, I'll have to come back. My day job is working as assistant principal at Johnson High School in St. Paul, Minnesota, a school in a district very similar to yours. I see children deal with building and maintenance things and scheduling. So that's my normal day job. Appreciate being here. Thank you for letting me come. Enjoyed my visit very much. Thank you.
My name is Jill Louders, Superintendent, New Rockford Cheyenne School District, New Rockford, North Dakota. Again, I did not have to call a school closure day today, as we got another 12 inches, I believe, on top of the 40 already there. So I'm so happy to be here. I am also a lead evaluator in the state of North Dakota, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to visit your district.
Thank you. I'm Deidre Meyer from Wyoming. I'm flying out here in about half an hour back to 1.5 to 2 feet of new snow with a closed pass, so I think I'll stay in Salt Lake tonight. But anyway, thank you again for inviting us. I am a 19-year veteran secondary teacher, national board certified instructor, and I coach national board certified candidates. I have just finished an instructional design master's and finishing my master's in educational leadership. So this was very insightful and invigorating, and you have a fabulous, fabulous district. So thank you.
My name is Shelley Asai, and I'm from Dysart, so I know nothing about snow. I am a principal of a K-8 STEM school, and I was so honored and proud to be here. We do great things in Arizona throughout our state, our teachers, our administrators, even though that's not always recognized. And I just thank you for all you do and your hospitality, your attention to detail. We have our accreditation visit next week, and it's going to be hard to follow the detail put into this. So thank you for your hard work and just all that you do for our kids in Arizona every day. It's impressive.
Good afternoon. My name is Tara Skuse. I'm currently manager of school support with BASIS. I was previously a charter school growth analyst looking at educational law, and I also have experience as a policy analyst in higher education. I appreciated every opportunity I had to meet with students. Kids came up, shook my hand, introduced themselves. I felt welcome from the second I got here, and the attention to detail was fantastic. Thank you.
And I think I'm going to shut this off and go back to the mic I have. And before we begin, you can see that you have a lot of expertise here. I didn't give you my background. I've been a principal, I've been a teacher, special ed, speech and language therapy, gifted and talented. I often say that I've done everything in a school and a district except be the custodian or the secretary, and I am not qualified for either. Those are too tough for me. They are difficult jobs. Right now what I do is I travel, and I've been in 23 states in a variety of foreign countries doing these advanced ed visits, because the most important thing to know about me is that I'm passionate about kids getting a quality education. So with that in mind, let's look at this, at our findings. I think it's important, and if you'll go back a slide, I think it's important to know that advanced ed represents 32,000 institutions, 20 million students. You don't want people coming in that don't have an agency or an institution that supports quality and knows what it takes to have quality education. When you look at the background, you know that that's true. And it's an international protocol. It builds the capacity. And it's not about giving you the answers. It's about making you find the answers that fit your students. You welcome us. Every place we went, that is something you know how to do with fidelity. We talk about intensity and quality and consistency. That piece about making someone part of your schools and your district, you have that piece. And this is the welcome that we all got. As we look at an external review, it's a journey. That's our emphasis. It's not that you were here and you've gone here in 5 years, because 5 years ago, Advanced Ed was here also. It's about a journey. It's about a stop. It's about looking at where you are. And it's looking at what your teaching and learning is doing. It's about the capacity that you have, and it's about your use of resources. As we look at it, we look for powerful practices. Powerful practices are something that you do so well that another system could come in and they could look at what you're doing and you could show that to them and they could replicate it back. Don't take a powerful practice lightly. It is exceptional to have a powerful practice. And then we do opportunities. Opportunities are things, hey, you should work on this if you decide to, fine. If you decide you aren't going to, then that's your choice. Improvement priorities, on the other hand, are things that we say will make such a difference for your students that Advanced Ed requires you to report within 2 years what your progress is. Because we want to see, are you able to put some of have a process to put in place to move toward this improvement priority? Because improvement priorities, we don't tell you how to do it. You have to figure that out on your own, given your district and your capacity and your students. The index of educational quality I'll explain as we go along. And at the very end, we give you an accreditation recommendation. You have been accredited. That accreditation, there's a checkpoint every 5 years. That's what this review was about. Take a look at this. Look at the bottom line. 342 people. That's not 342 people that we met. That's 342 people that we had a critical, meaningful conversation with about what's happening in your schools. Think about that. There were 8 of us. How did we accomplish that in 3 days, right? Because we started on Sunday night, we went till right now. That's a lot of people. The reason we were able to do that is because you empowered us to do that. You were so well organized as a district, and you understood the importance of us hearing the voices within your district, that you had systems in place to see that we got where we were supposed to go, that we kept on time, and that the people were available to interview. You might think that just happens. It doesn't just happen. That was evidence to us of the organization that you have in place to involve people. You took the team, you welcomed us, you made us part of what you do every day. That takes skill and finesse. That's really important. 342 people. Usually I'll see 100 to 150 to give you a reference point. We always look for themes. A very standout theme here is your commitment to get continuously improving. You're getting better every day. You're improving what you do. This next one is important for you to think about. You have a commitment to quality, and that's important. Your superintendent and I talked about when you're better, sometimes that's the enemy of being best. You understand that piece, that in order to have really that best educational system, you've got to have quality. And you understand that and you're working on it. Is that hard? Very. Quantity means numbers. It's the numbers game. I got 2 of this, or I'm a 3, or I've got an A, or those kinds of measures. Quality is much harder to measure, and you know that. It's like the difference between eating my cooking and eating my friend's cooking. My friend is a gourmet cook. I'm so-so. Go to her house for dinner. Teaching and learning. That's about students. It's about the curriculum. It's about the students you graduate. Your graduation rate is 93%. It's about supporting your students. That teaching and learning is absolutely critical. Let's look at that. You have really collectively looked at students. It's about students. We have a powerful practice here. It's the student-centered culture. You don't just say students first. It's who you are. And the students, do you remember back with the numbers, how many students we had talked to? Your students reflect that. We visited with numerous students, and we had meaningful conversations with the numbers that I had in the accountability part. But we visited with a lot of other students. The ROTC, the cheerleaders doing a cheer, the little kids in kindergarten that are just really fun. They all reflect this student-centered culture. And someone could come into your district and they could see how you have involved students in the relationship piece. And part of that is students setting goals. And if you look at this slide, you may not be able to see it, but this student, for me, the most important word is today. He's saying today. He's not saying yesterday. He's not saying tomorrow, although he can talk about what he's going to do tomorrow for this fluency that he's celebrating. But he's saying today, I'm going to get there. And we all know if you set a goal, it's about what you do today that matters. The Elliott is a learning tool that Advanced Ed has created, research-based. We go into classrooms and we look in classrooms. I believe we're somewhere in the 80s in the number of classrooms that we went into. Think about that. In one day's time, we were in 80 of your classrooms. That's evidence of what's happening in your classroom. And if you look and you have more time, on the left is what you scored, and it's not real meaningful right now, but it could be. On the right-hand side is the way the scores that when you take an average internationally, so that's in the United States and internationally of these classroom observations, that's the average. So the left is what Peoria scored. The right-hand side is the international average. And that's something you could look at a little. There'll be a write-up in the final report. A powerful practice in teaching and learning, authentic stakeholder involvement. That's important. Many districts have the potluck, you know how that goes. You have the open house. Don't we all know that? I mean, that's part of the American tradition, isn't it? Going to open house. But you've gone beyond that, and it's that quality versus quantity piece. When you take quality, what we found in interviewing community members and parents is that you will involve so that it's not just a partnership. There's a togetherness that your community expresses that they are a part of the schools. There's an essence piece there that's different than you usually see. And again, we could bring another district in here. You could do what we've done, go around to the schools, and that district would see what it is you're doing. It's very evident. Leadership capacity. We talk about, do you have a purpose and a mission? And that is absolutely critical. Have you identified your values? Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Do you know it's about kids? Not all districts do. But you have a focus and you've targeted and you know why you're doing what you're doing. It's about involving your stakeholders. There we have an improvement priority. And an improvement priority is an opportunity. We don't tell you how to do it, but there will be more detail in the report itself. But this improvement priority is about change. And it is not change for change itself, but it's about continuous improvement and identifying how you're going to do that, going to the next step with it. Resource utilization is the last area of the Index of Educational Quality. And that's about your resources. You know, when you look at it, you have resources, you have leadership, and then you have the teaching and learning. You have an improvement priority, as you noticed in the leadership piece, and that piece is about clarifying that innovation area. You certainly are committed to excellence. Isn't this picture great of those students are sitting out and reading? But That's not your typical. That's innovative. That's kids being part of their learning. We have an improvement priority in this area, and the improvement priority is technology. It's not about computers, just putting a computer in a classroom, or I'll say this, and every teacher will go, oh, please, putting a cell phone in every classroom for every student. It's not about that. It's about the digital world and making it part of how we do things. It's part of our society. It's part of what students are going to experience. Some students are very proficient right now. What 2-year-old, 3-year-old do you know that doesn't pick up on a piece of technology? It's a part of the world. We have a responsibility as an educational system to see that kids are using it appropriately, that they are proficient in it because it's so much a part of their world. And this one, it'll take some time as you as a district think through, what do we want for our students? Because we don't tell you what to do. We just say, look at this. And in our indicators, it's going to give you some guidance for this. All right, so what have you seen? You've seen two very powerful practices. You've seen some 2 improvement priorities. And to put that improvement priority in perspective for you, you have 2. Those people that are other lead evaluators, I haven't personally led a team that had this, but I've seen as many as 12 in reader reviewer. See, so think about it. You have 2 powerful improvement priorities that have a lot of things that you can work on. Now, let's look at these conclusions. If you look overall, remember on the left is your score, on the right is the international average, and on the left, that reflects there are like 35 indicators of where you need to work, or where just what we look at in a district. Then those are averaged within a content or within the area. So your overall average is 283, whereas the network average is 278. Wow. That is so impressive. Look at teaching and learning. 277, 267. Again, celebration. Leadership, that's that mission piece. That's that purpose and direction. That's that leadership at both the building and the district level. And don't take teachers out of this leadership piece, because remember, teachers are leaders also. So this is really, it kind of should be a staff piece. If you look at that, a 305, wow, that is impressive. The average would be 292. Then resource utilization, remember we had that whole area of technology, long-range planning in that area. And so you're at 262, the average is 284. You know what? If you don't celebrate that, I know some districts who would take those scores. So give yourself a hand. So, that you're performing within acceptable ranges? Well, yes, you are, right? We could change that word acceptable, except they won't let me. That's a template part. They say leave that in, Sharon. So we recommend, it is the commission who gives the final approval. So this will go through a reader reviewer who will read it and say, oh, do you have enough evidence for this? Well, you go back and see. Or it may get to the commission. It can get as far as the commission, and the commission can say, I read this, because they all read all of the reports. They can send it back to the state, who then would send it back to the lead evaluator and say, the commission is saying we need to see more evidence, or we don't see that there's enough proof for this. I would doubt that's going to happen in your case, but it's something to be aware of. But we recommend accreditation. We didn't have to think about that at all. We, as a team, commend you. And you know what? When I was an elementary principal, we had something that we did very rarely, but we did it. And everybody wished for it. So the elementary principal meeting is going to come out right here. And I'm going to say, you as a district have earned what in Wyoming we call the Superman whoosh. And a Superman whoosh is 1, 2, 3, whoosh. So you should feel the energy and the appreciation and the respect that I certainly, and I think we as a team have for what you have accomplished. Remember, it's a journey. What? Yes. It is continuous. They must be addressed within 2 years. You know, I'll bet when you get them written out with that report, you're going to be thinking, I know you're going to be thinking, maybe even tomorrow, start discussing and thinking about how this is going to go. But you have the 2 years. It's a journey of school improvement. It's deliberate, it's strategic. Every day is being prepared and achieving success. We thank you for the positive environment. Welcome is not just a word to you. It has meaning. And you certainly give affirmation to the team, but you give it to each other. And most importantly, you give it to your students. Your students said it over and over, that they felt supported. So our final thoughts are, we appreciate your hospitality. Wow. We respect. You have earned our respect. We congratulate you on what you've accomplished. And I think they should add another one. And we encourage you to keep going. Because it's creating a world of opportunities for every student within your schools and district. And how to get a hold of us. Thank you so much for letting us and sharing with us your students.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sure the board has some questions or comments. I'll start with Mrs. Ceja Martinez.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Mrs. Pengarelli. Of course, Peoria is near and dear to my heart, and so when I had the opportunity to go through this experience, I had nothing but fabulous things to say about all of you guys, and this report is a testament to what you guys have all accomplished as a team. There's no individual that could have done all of this, and so I thank you and appreciate everything you guys have done. Thank you.
Mrs. Connect.
Well, I'm so pleased that you all felt so welcome, and I'm so glad that you were impressed. I know that there was some nervousness among staff members I was sensing, and I didn't think they should be nervous because we've known how great PUSD is for a long time. I'm so happy that you are pleased with what we have been so very proud about. And I welcome the opportunity to improve in the areas that you suggest. It's so healthy, I think, to have outside eyes look upon what we're doing and offer us really a fresh start. So it's a prime time. New superintendent, new school board. We're excited about the future and appreciate the guidance you've given us.
Sandoval?
So as we were going through this process, I will tell you, it was an honor to talk about all the stakeholders within the district. One of the terms that you used, Dr. K, is that correct? I apologize. One of the terms you used in your presentation about authentic stakeholders, I believe, the genuine interest across all verticals within this district in ensuring the success of all of our students is unparalleled. So thank you for that.
Mrs. Doan? And your beautiful granddaughter?
This is Evie. I would like to say that I had no doubts that our staff would come through with flying colors and that our district would come through with flying colors. I do appreciate the work that went into this. I believe it was necessary. Well, I know it's required, but I believe it was necessary to, point up some things where we need to make improvements. And I believe that the district has gained some insight from this and also some well-deserved kudos to those who worked so hard. And I appreciate all the hard work of just everyone involved. And I think it's just going to go forward and make our district greater than ever.
Linda, would you like to say a few words at all? Any more?
Certainly, we should thank you, Linda, because you thanked everybody else and you spearheaded this.
Wow, thank you. And as you say, I went, thank you. Oh, my goodness, no, I appreciate it, it wasn't me, it was this group here. You are amazing, inspiring, whether you know or not, my husband decided in the middle of this to collapse.
Oh, no.
And he wound up in intensive care in the middle of the week.
Oh.
And everybody said, yeah, we got it knocked, okay? And I said to him, you need to live through this. Are you not listening to me? And by fear, he did. So, no, it's about this team, and it's about all the things I said. Thank you. I have nothing else to say, but, okay, let's get to tomorrow and move on. And get over here. Come here.
Oh, yeah.
She hates this. No, go ahead.
President Pingarelli, members of the board, Dr. Stifler, all I'd like to say is that there is cake for us to celebrate. that was all. I felt it was important to note.
No, and this is the champion, Lynn, the team that I mentioned. Thank you.
Dr. Stifler, would you like to?
Yeah, just one quick thing. Thank you doesn't begin to do it, but to the team, I told you individually, but I wanted to thank you. Our people all felt valued by the way you talked to us. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I want you to know that over there by the cake, you have to help us eat the cake. But art is a big deal around here. There's some examples of student art over there, some ceramic pieces, and we invite you to select one and take that as a memento of your visit to us. Thank you very much.
Well, I would also like to thank the team for coming. It was very easy for the governing board. We only had 1 hour. You guys had hundreds of hours to prepare. So we really appreciate the team for coming, and also for our team here for doing such a good job. And Mrs. Aries, you took my thunder. I was going to announce the cake, so I'm sorry. So I guess in order to get to the cake, we have to get to agenda item number 5, which is consideration for adjournment. I would need a motion and a second.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. We'll take a voice vote. All in favor to adjourn, say aye. Aye. Opposed? I guess we are going to adjourn. Please welcome, have some cake. Thank you.
I know that you were stressed about it, but she's very.